What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite dating coach, Elliott Scott, and as you can see by the title below, and that half my face is cut off, but as you can see by the title below, we're going to talk about something a little more positive, okay? We're going to talk about green flags. We're going to talk about what makes a guy commit instead of what pushes him away. Now, I might have touched on some of these in my previous videos, but I decided to put together 5 things because I do think they're worth mentioning. And I do feel like no matter the guy, a huge majority of the men, let's say, a huge majority of the men will want all 5 of these things in a girl, okay? So the number one thing is emotional stability. And here's what I mean by that. I don't mean just the neediness, just the clinginess, her freaking out, the jealousy, even though that's all very, very important. I don't just mean that. What I am also talking about is the fact that she doesn't hang on to his words. She doesn't hold things against him. You know, the reason a guy doesn't open up to a girl for the most part is because he's afraid that she's going to hold on to what he says. So, for example, let's just say he likes the way things are going now, or the way things are now, but you know what, he opens up. He decides to open up and tell her how he feels. Well, once he does that, he kind of opens a can of worms, because once he says that, girls feel like it's okay for them to just be mushy and gushy and spill their guts, and then to be, you know, show the neediness and clinginess. Oh, he likes me, he loves me, he's not going to pull away, he said all those nice things, and then it nips him in the butt, right? Or another example of that is where say a guy tells a girl he loves her, and then later on, a week later, he's not showing her the same interest as he did around the time he said he loved her. She's going to hold it against him and say, don't you love me anymore? Is something wrong? Are we okay? Are you okay? And starts questioning him. It gets to the point where he's feeling, I shouldn't have just said anything, right? I should have just done it through actions and not said a damn thing, okay? So that's number one. Number 2 is a woman who doesn't have a quote-unquote end goal. Now, while the end goal is to obviously have a relationship committed in a title, I'm sure that's a lot of women's, the final stage, However, it's really easy going for a guy, and it's really just lighthearted if you go through that whole journey, the first 6 weeks, without having a goal, without seeming like you're having a goal. Just have fun, hang out, live in the moment, smile, be his escape. And here's the problem a lot of women have. And this is important. I want you to take this phrase I'm about to say. A lot of women focus on trying to get the title instead of trying to build attraction. The title doesn't mean shit. The title could come from a lot of things. Some women might want a title because of insecurity, to fill a void. It's like a contract, things like that, okay? But if you focus on the attraction, and you focus on winning a guy over, and you focus on building depth and rapport instead of convincing a guy, hey, you need to sign this contract, which is going to push him away, then he's going to be more likely to want to sign across the dotted line because you worked on attraction. Attraction is not a choice. If you build attraction, he's going to want the title, okay? You just have to have enough attraction, but no one looks at it that way. So that's number 2. And I got them written down right here, so if you see me looking over here, it's because I have the paper. Number 3 is giving more than taking. I feel like a lot of people in relationships, it's like they think it's a transaction. Like, you do this, so I got to do that, or because I did this, now you got to do that, or I'm the one who's always initiating, or I'm the one who's always giving. When you start to give something in terms of trying to get something back, it's a transaction. I always say that both parties should be giving 51%. And I say 51%. I mean, both parties should be giving 100%, but because there's 2 of them, they should be given a majority. So I just say both should be given 51% instead of 51-49. And if you have that mindset of, I'm going to give more than him, and you find the right guy who's, I'm going to give 51%, I'm going to give more than she gives me, then you're in a recipe of success, because attraction is all about moving forward, escalating, building, progression, so on and so forth. And if you both have that mindset, then you're going to succeed with attraction, with getting the guy, with getting him to commit. Okay, the problem a lot of women have is They showed I know this is a green flag video, but they showed the red flags. You know, a woman, you know, it ends up becoming a hassle. She ends up getting in her own. A lot of women end up getting in their own heads. It's not even the guy. Women just gets in her own head. The guy doesn't text her for, you know, he doesn't text her as much this week as he did last week, or he says something and she doesn't know what he means. And again, you just get in your own head. If you just focus on hanging out, seeing him in person, seeing him in person, and winning him over, you're going to have much more success instead of getting in your head, self-sabotaging, and being your own worst enemy, okay? So number 4 is a guy's looking for a woman who isn't seeking a man for happiness. That's a huge responsibility for a guy. The fact that that you're a woman who's looking at him saying, hey, you're the one who has to satisfy me. You're the one who has to make me happy. While a guy's job is to provide and satisfy, just think about that responsibility. Like your source of happiness is dependent on me. Like, that's really freaky. And a lot of women don't think they give off that vibe, but they do. You know, you can just tell a woman when she tries really hard to get a guy, or she tries really hard to convince a guy, she tries really hard to make it. Again, just be in the flow, just be in the moment. You can tell when a girl tries really, really hard, and that her source of happiness is a guy in her life because she's trying to fill a void. And that comes from a place of scarcity, of lacking abundance, or lacking self-esteem and confidence. And again, guys can see that a mile away. So it's very, very important to have your shit together and be happy, and then bring a guy into your life when you're happy. So again, you can project that off to him. You're not taking. Again, if you're trying to find a guy for happiness, you're taking, you're not giving. Instead, you want to have your life together and then add that to his life, okay? And of course, the last one, I always say this, is that you're a woman who makes him want to be a better man. We all strive to be better individuals, and there's nothing better in the world than falling in love, being loved in return with a person who makes you want to be a better person. Now, of course, you do this by leading by example. You have your shit together. You're in his corner. You're with him through thick and thin. You're fun. Again, I think it's leading by example. I told this story in my live stream on how, I was talking about how I was just like when I got out of my breakup, I was a really broken guy. I was just broken, beat down, bottom of the barrel, catfish, right? I was a catfish kind of guy. I was a bottom feeder. And women were asking me, well, how did this one girl change you? Because over time, I ended up meeting this girl who got me out of that hole. And I always told them that this girl was a really good storyteller. Like, she convinced me of her story of her life. Not that she actually told me a story, but when I watched her and I looked at her, I felt, damn, this girl's awesome. My life is so dark and gloomy, and I'm putting up this void, right? Or I'm putting up this mask to make it look like I'm great when I'm not. But when I actually looked at her energy, her vibe, the way she came off, her spontaneity, just her smile, her laugh, her aura. Like, I remember talking to my guy friends about it when when we first met. We all met at a hookah bar, and they're just like, damn, like, this girl has the energy. Like, this girl's just the shit. And it just grew on me, and I knew that if I had her in my life, that I would be a better individual, okay? So you have to be a good storyteller. Again, we're all a brand, we're all salesmen. You're trying to convince a guy that your product or your brand is better than another woman's. It comes down to that, okay? So with that being said, there you go, ladies. I love you. If you need any more advice on men building value and growing a relationship and getting him to want you, desire you, and building that rapport and making him see you in a different light than other women, please check out my value guide. The link's below. It really will help you with getting the guy you want, the guy you deserve, and having him desire you. So with that being said, ladies, I love you. Take care and peace.